Today I'm going to talk to you about energy healing because I have been putting out a lot of content that is energy healing, and I wanted to give a little bit of background on that, not only for my experience, but to kind of speak to, I know what I didn't understand for a long time, and perhaps it will kind of fill in some questions you might not even know you have. If this is your first time here, thank you so much for being here with me. If you've been here before, welcome back. I'm so grateful that you are here again. I have to first acknowledge that I unexpectedly started wearing my hair curly, and it's just wild. But also, it feels so authentic to me. I've worn it curly in the past, but it's been so short for a while. I don't know. It was like I never liked how it looked. And then I just felt inspired to figure out how to let the natural curls really do their thing and do what they want. And I'm just becoming more and more comfortable with it. I can't wait until it's like down to here and just let it be a whole thing. But I am a Leo, so I feel like it's very fitting because it's my main. Okay, so energy healing. I first of all need to say that when I first got into Reiki, I could not really feel the energy that much, which is very interesting. And the first time I ever used a pendulum to go over each of my chakras, which you can do, none of them were like, the pendulum was not moving because my chakras were so blocked. And I didn't know what any of this meant. It was during my yoga teacher training, so everybody was watching too. And I remember the teacher being like, it's fine, it's fine. And I look back on that now and I think, oh my gosh, what made me continue to show up when I had such a heavy energy still? And I swear it's because there was something within me that really that kept calling me to the spiritual realm, to everything spiritual. I have always been just so drawn to it more than anything else. Like if I could find what's at the absolute root of me, it is a desire and curiosity around everything spiritual. So I got into Reiki and I did the training partly because I knew I could use it to help heal myself, and I just had a lot going on at the time. Also because my sister had gone through it and she had a really magical experience when she did her activation. So that's not what happened for me. It felt a little discouraging, but I just continued to explore what was going to be best for me in my experience. Reiki is something that I have continued to get called back to. I have been certified in the training now, the first level, for probably like 8 years now. And then I did the second training twice actually, just to get a refresher after I had waited a little while. It is something that I continue to feel called back to. In the last year or so, I've especially been focused on it. And in the last year, I've also had new experiences with my meditations and things. And that's where my light language started coming through. And that started happening while I was meditating. And I had no idea what was going on. My hands just started moving and there was all this action. I had not heard of it before, at least not where I really connected to it. And I certainly didn't know that light language could also come through your hands. So I remember starting to Google it and try to figure out what was going on. Then I was connecting with some live group sessions and things with people who were healers and asking them, and some people didn't have answers for me. The few people who could tell me, oh, you're starting to channel, it's a form of light language, it was like a light bulb for me. And I started doing more research on that and I was like, oh my gosh. And the thing I still think is the coolest is that even when my hands started moving during the meditation, some people might feel a little bit freaked out about it, but I was excited and I was thinking, I know that this is not me doing this. I have no idea what this is, but I know that I am spiritually connected enough that it's cool, it's safe. I just need to figure out what it is. And the energy that would come through, that does come through, was so powerful. I started looking it up, and it also started coming through when I was starting to give Reiki sessions just on its own. The first one, I was actually giving it to my mom, and I thought, oh my gosh, can she see what's happening right now? But thankfully, her eyes were closed. Just because at that time I didn't really know how to explain it. So anyway, this has been what's going on for the last year, especially. I do think it was a little bit triggered by a very big loss in my life. That was another catalyst of me just stepping into a whole new realm of my spiritual connection. Thank goodness I had the foundation I did when that happened, because I really feel that it has been such a big part of my ability to navigate and not be completely destroyed by it. And that is what is beautiful, is that it has actually allowed me to connect even deeper and be able to assist others in their healing. One of the things I want to kind of say is that if you're feeling drawn to energy healing and you're like, gosh, I don't really feel anything, but it seems like other people probably feel something, that's okay. The fact that you're called to it, your soul knows and is calling you to it. And perhaps you are not feeling the energy as intensely as you will after you've shown up to it for a lot longer, but continue to show up, because even if you cannot feel it in the way you think you should, does not mean you're not getting so much benefit from it. I truly believe that it is because I've kept showing up and just following this pull within me that I was stripping away so many of the layers and dense energy and blocks and limiting beliefs and things that were blocking me from feeling it more. And now, 10 years later, after being on a very steady, committed spiritual journey, I am having a completely different experience with it. I feel so strongly that whatever is going on with me is really powerful and beautiful. And one of the things that I learned through my Reiki training is that this energy is a universal, like a life force energy. You can connect it to your chi. When you hear of your chi, it is in so many different spiritual communities, and maybe they use a different word for it. A lot of people talk about Kundalini and the Shakti, and they're all interwoven. Certainly, if any of these words pique your interest, look into them. I am having a very interesting experience with my Kundalini energy as well, and that is different than the energy that's coming through my hands in a sense. At least it is showing up in a different way. But ultimately what matters is that it is such pure, loving, conscious energy. You know, the worst that happens is that you just nothing. That's the worst that can happen for you if you're a little bit skeptical and you think it's a little too woo-woo. Obviously, there's a party that doesn't if you're listening to this right now. So get past the ego stuff and just, let yourself experience it. Because for me, I really believe the worst is that nothing happens. The best, though, is that you can feel the most pure, loving, healing energy that any of us can experience. And so I think that the odds are pretty good for having a good experience with this. A piece of advice that I would give if you are still learning how to feel it is just allowing yourself to quiet your mind, to kind of get to the place where you would if you were meditating, and perhaps meditation is a challenge for you too. But ultimately, the most powerful place we can be is in the present moment. And so much of these energies that are talked about in the spiritual community are subtle, especially at first. And part of the reason they're described as subtle is because we don't pick up on them with our normal 5 senses that we're used to. And we need to actually quiet our ego and our mind to get to the place where we can start to learn how to tune in with other senses of ours, other parts of our ability to feel and sense. And in my experience, showing up to meditation every single day now for the last year, and very frequently before that, but being more committed than ever in the last year, has allowed me to quiet my mind enough, to quiet my emotions and work through things emotionally, to just be able to center and be present enough that I could start tuning into these subtle energies. I feel, for example, light language, it didn't just show up for me one day. I actually cleared enough in my energy space that I could connect to it. It was always there, just like so much in the spiritual realm is. It's us that get too distracted or have too much literally blocking us that we can't tune into those subtle energies around us. So when you want to just feel it and tune into it, start by meditating. Try one of my videos with Reiki or light language. They're not very long. Just seeing if you can feel more calm, more peace, more quiet in your mind and body. That is how you start connecting. That is why they say there's so much work that we have to do. The work is actually learning about our beliefs and the parts of us that aren't serving us, the parts of us that we think are us but aren't, the conditioning we've learned over the years, to be able to become more aware and conscious of that, to then say, oh, this is just in my way, kind of. This is just blocking me. I don't need this here. And the more we do that, we strip away these layers that are blocking us from the energetic aspects of ourselves that have always been there, but that we could not get to. We haven't been able to actually reach simply because these other things have been in the way. If you are here and watching this, I know that means that you are also getting that pull, that call, that nudge for something deeper. So just allow yourself to follow that. That pull is usually so much more quiet than your ego. Do what you can to quiet your ego so you can connect to that, and keep following these little intuitions, these tiny, quiet little hits that you get that say, do this or don't do that, because those are going to lead you to more and more of this, of that feeling that makes you feel so pure, so connected, and much more aware of you. And that is one of the best feelings in the world, is just being able to feel and see yourself more. This was a little bit of some random thoughts around energy healing today, but also I think it's really important, and it's just really great for us to be able to have chats like this. So please leave me your thoughts or comments or questions or anything in the comment section. I look forward to hearing from you and chatting with you next time. Bye.